Hi, and welcome to our third and final web seminar. I'm Matt Gould from UX Gym, and today we're going to be talking about common mistakes we see when people run usability tests that make it a little bit harder for them to get good results. Before we kick into it though, I just want to address a couple of questions that people have sent through to me. The first one is, why are we recording this in our office or studio? Which I think people think we're doing this because we've got these places in the background. But the fact is that this is actually my living room. This is my living room table. My children are just over there doing their homework. And it's actually being filmed on an iPhone, which is in a phone holder from a car, which is attached to a guitar stand, which is sitting on a stool. So it's all very ad hoc and probably not up to the production standards we would ideally like. And even these posters are only here in our house because they have misprints on them. If anyone's noticed some of the strange type in the background, we put them up just to make things look a little bit nicer. The other question we had is why we are live streaming pre-recorded videos. So the original goal was to have a live stream, but then because we're slightly rural and at that time our broadband wasn't that great, we found that we just didn't have fast enough upload speeds to do a proper live stream of any quality at all. So we settled for pre-recording them and then uploading them and streaming the pre-recorded web videos. So I think that's about it. Today we're returning to that theme we had in our first one of things we see our clients doing that we think they could do a little bit better. So let's crack into it. Okay, so things you can do to ruin a usability test. So one of the best things you can do if you really want to get bad results in a usability test is be really specific about the result you're looking for. So as you guys know, if you have ever run any usability tests, best practice is that we don't use language that specifically describes the desired action we're looking for, and we don't use language that specifically references anything in the user interface, like a button or a slider or anything like that. So if, for example, we're doing an e-commerce site and we want to test the flows for filtering and purchasing, what we don't want to do is say to them, show me how you would open the filters to locate a red t-shirt. In that instruction, we've told them that there are filters, we've told them they need to open the filters, and we've basically told them that that's what they should be looking for and using to locate the red t-shirt. In the same kind of thing, if the call to action to purchase that t-shirt is a button that says buy, then we don't want an instruction that says, show me how you would buy that t-shirt. We're basically telling them what call to action to look for to buy it. Instead, we want to say something a little bit more general, like if you wanted to buy a red t-shirt, or pretend you want to buy a red t-shirt and show me how you would do that. So this is related to the first point. It's harder to construct a good interview question or a good instruction that doesn't give away clues if you ad-lib or slightly change the instruction every time you give it. Ideally, each person should get exactly the same instructions. But we see people give little clues and small differences that make it really difficult to compare cases from person to person. And it doesn't necessarily be that you accidentally mention that there are filters, or you accidentally mention that they are going to click something so they know they're looking for a button. Sometimes just the way you frame up a question puts someone into a different state of mind and gives them an advantage or a different experience than the other person that came before. And ultimately for usability testing, what we're looking for is data saturation. So that is, we want to do the smallest number of people that we can test before we start to see repeating results. And if we have a slightly different experience for each person who comes in, then it's going to be a lot harder for us to reach that data saturation point. Next one is, don't congratulate people if they do what you were hoping for. So if any of you ever run a usability test, you know that one of the first things we do when we're setting up the test is we say, this isn't a test of you, this is a test of the product or a test of the service. And what we don't want is people to have performance anxiety, to think that what we're testing is their ability to navigate the system. What we're testing is the system intuitive enough or easy enough to use that someone can use it regardless. Now, if we give this instruction to someone and then the first time they complete a task, we say, congratulations, well done, you nailed it, or that's great, then we've just contradicted that first bit of instruction. We're basically kind of giving them a clue that actually it is a test and they've done great because they've nailed it. And if you can pass a test, that means you can also fail a test. So instead of saying well done or good work, just try saying okay or thank you or something like that, but something that doesn't put a value judgment on their ability to complete a task. So number 4 is don't watch your own videos. So it's really common, although not universal, to take notes during a test. But it's really easy to make mistakes when you're taking notes. So first of all, even if your only role is a dedicated note taker during a usability test, it's very easy to miss something. You look away, your attention is distracted even for a moment, and something happens and you just miss it. Also, things move fast in usability tests, and it's really easy to misread an action even if you see it. And even if you get those first 2 right, it's easy to make a mistake in your notes, even if you get everything right. So all at the same time, you have to be paying attention, you have to be correctly interpreting what you see and taking accurate notes. So we've seen organizations take actions based on notes and then realize when they watched the videos later on that actually the notes were slightly misleading, and it's really easy to do. I think at Mishai, we actually have a really streamlined system for taking notes. We have a spreadsheet, we have a pass or fail, and we have notes, and we've got a really great way of going through and getting fast turnaround notes. But even someone like us who does usability tests all the time will sometimes talk about what we saw based on our notes, and then when we review the videos later on, realize that actually we slightly misinterpreted something. In academic research, they'll often do double coding, where actually 2 people will go through all the videos just to make sure that we're not misinterpreting things. The most common mistake we see when people are going through their first round notes is just that you mishear something. So for example, maybe someone has one person's done an action, the next person in the test does an action, and suddenly we're primed to expect that action. We're starting to develop a theory in our head of why people are failing or succeeding in a particular task. Someone fails in a task and it's very similar to the first 2, but actually they failed for a slightly different reason. But because we've now got this expectation, this theory, we've got this confirmation bias, we've misread that third one. And that happens all the time, even to people who do this kind of thing all the time. Okay, so our last one, number 5, and I'm going to read through my notes as I talk about this because it's easy to get it wrong, is the best way we've seen to get poor results from a usability test, to really ruin a usability test, is to disregard results that seem unlikely or don't match your expectations. So by all means, if you see a result that intuitively feels wrong to you, you should definitely check it. Go through your recordings, make sure that what you saw is what you think you saw is what you actually saw. But you need to be very critical of yourself and be very wary of disregarding results that seem counterintuitive to you without checking. And this is sort of related to that confirmation bias we mentioned in our previous web seminar. So as an example, so we have some filters and we spent a lot of time designing them. We want to see if people will successfully use them. I can hear my children yawning in the background. This is how a lot of people feel about usability testing. We see clients who are really emotionally invested in something that they've designed and say 4 out of 6 people succeed in using something that they've designed. And that's seen as significant. They would say most people succeeded. That's how they would frame it up. However, if the same number fail, if 4 out of 6 fail, then often that's not treated as significant. They'll find 1 or 2 of those failures and they'll rationalize away that particular failure. They might say the instruction was misleading, and so for this person here, I think they got the wrong idea and we can't really accept that result. However, in the reverse scenario, the people who succeeded got exactly the same instruction and we're not rationalizing away their success. So that's just human nature. We all do that all the time without realizing. We downplay negative results that are against the way we expect things to work, and we pay more attention to positive results. We downplay negatives and we upplay positives. So if we see someone who fails to meet our expectations, we rationalize it away. And this is actually the main thing we see. We see it all the time. I was doing a usability test a couple of years ago, where a client was in a second room watching the tests, putting post-its up of observations, and whenever something happened that contradicted a feature that they put a lot of work into, there would be some rationalization as to why we shouldn't pay that much attention. Whenever someone succeeded, however, haphazardly, that would be given a lot of weight and a lot of attention would be paid to that result. So that's about it. Usability testing is a weird beast because it's actually very straightforward. There's not that much to it, but it does rely on getting everything just right. And it's very easy to get misleading results if you don't pay a lot of attention to detail as you're going through. So it has been fun but stressful to record these. This is the last one we're going to do as we pivot now to preparing for our public courses again and getting some of our courses online. After this broadcast, we're going to have a Zoom again, so look in the description or look on the webpage and we'll put a link to that Zoom. Anyone who wants to is welcome to come in and ask some follow-up questions. And otherwise, yeah, thanks for watching, and maybe we'll do some more of these when we go back into lockdown. Otherwise, hopefully see some of you on our courses. Thanks.